Welcome to the Vault XL. This is live number 3. Please check out my earlier content pertaining to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. Live number 2 is pertaining to the primates that escaped from a South Carolina lab. Alpha Genesis 1 has been recovered. And then this live number 3 is a continued conversation about the disappearance of the said child and the new information by father and dog, the bounty hunter, and its investigators, that they have gotten information from different states and possibly Canada. Do they have sightings? Have they heard of sightings? Do they have credible leads? Is this another hoax by someone wanting to throw carrot parties off in this investigation of this said child? The link is in the chat if you would like to come on the panel to give your personal opinion. I will be playing different information pertaining to this case. We're going to hear from the news pertaining to this international search. There is also a Vigil held where you will hear from the father, Seth Rogers, and I will play a little bit of Vinnie Politan. And I also will read from my own community page of polls pertaining to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. Thank you for your time. This is live number 3.
Our new leads for a missing Sumner County teenager leads investigators, along with Dog the Bounty Hunter, to increase the reward money and expand their search internationally. Good evening and welcome to News 2 at 5. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his home in Hendersonville last February and has not been seen since. Investigators tell News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry they're leaving no stones unturned.
It's been 10 months since Sebastian Rogers went missing from his family home in Hendersonville. In the first couple of months, several law enforcement agencies searched with no sight of the teen. Law enforcement then pulled back to focus on the investigative side. But Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological father, never stopped searching. Last month, Dog the Bounty Hunter joined the search efforts.
This is not the first rodeo for me finding a missing child.
Dog's first act was to raise the reward money for information from $50,000 to $100,000. Most recently, the reward has increased to $175,000.
We want to motivate anyone with information to please step forward and potentially help break the case wide open.
Then Dice Davis, the lead high-risk task force investigator for At Night Intelligence Agency and Dog the Bounty Hunter, says new leads have created an international search effort.
We've pinpointed some credible leads in Oregon and New York near the Canadian border. There are several active investigation zones where we're working on the case closely with locals and initiated a rapid reach notification to all U.S. towns that border Canada.
According to At Night Intelligence Agency, 2 notices were issued requesting immediate awareness on ports of entry for the United States and Canada. The document requests vigilance from national law enforcement agencies and attention to motels, hotels, bus stations, and similar facilities.
It's about showing how seriously we take these new leads and our dedication to using every tool at our disposal to find answers.
In the meantime, the groups are looking to add more team members by February and March.
If you have any information regarding Sebastian's whereabouts, you are asked to call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, the TDI, your local FBI office, or Dog the Bounty Hunter's tip line. Those numbers are listed on our website at WKRN.com. Haley.
Okay, that's News 2. I will be recapping all said information pertaining to Sebastian. Let's just go back at least the past month. So what you'll be hearing during this live stream is a recap of the latest events pertaining to this case, the parents, so on and so forth. So that was the latest information. Dog has joined the search. It is now at $175,000. The reward, they've gotten information from Oregon, New York, near the Canadian border, pertaining to the said child. What is that information? What are the leads? Are they credible leads? Is this just another hoax or somebody trying to mislead investigators or this said task force team working with the dog? Does Seth believe this said information? Once again, what is the information? Law enforcement. Have they passed this information to law enforcement? I meant to say this during my earlier live, but has the Sheriff Department, TBI, gotten this information? Do they agree with the information? Have they spoken with Seth about the information? Have they given their own commentary to what was said to them? And has Seth and Dog given this information to law enforcement? If they have, what was the response from Sumner County Sheriff, TBI? Do they believe this information? Will they follow up on the information? And once again, is this information credible? Let's get on to the next set of information pertaining to this case. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Ooh, Lordy, 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 Lordy. Where is it going to go? One second. This is pertaining to the Vigil. WKRN News 2 is the source of this information. Thank you for your time.
The house is very, very quiet because my son's not there. Going through hell when I go home. He's not there.
Almost 9 months and still no sign of Sebastian Rogers. His father, Seth, says he won't stop looking for him.
The goal is to find Sebastian Wade Drake Rogers. Some people have issues saying his name, and his name needs to be said more often.
Celebrity bounty hunter Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, joined the search for Sebastian about 2 months ago. The search initially started with several local and state law enforcement agencies, including the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and the TBI.
They haven't come out and told anybody anything since April. And them actually speaking with me, they'd have to actually answer their phone.
Seth encourages people to keep saying his son's name until Sebastian is found. We're here because...
Let's go back and hear that again.
With several local and state law enforcement agencies, including the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and the TBI.
They haven't come out and told anybody anything since April. And them actually speaking with me, they'd have to actually answer their phone.
Seth?
Well, that will lead us to believe that Mr. Rogers has contacted these entities pertaining to the disappearance of his son. So, Seth, when was the last time you reached out to Sumner County and TBI? Number one. Number two, if they did not respond recently or the last time that Seth reached out, why is that? Has anyone from his investigative team, because I do believe he has PIs on the case, how many PIs does he have? Are they doing a thorough job in investigating this case for him? Is he pleased with them? Is he pleased with Mr. Dog? And why hasn't anyone responded? Because he says in order, to reciprocate conversation, one would have to answer the phone, which is common sense. I call you, you're supposed to answer at some point, allegedly. So when was the last time that Seth reached out to law enforcement? And if he has reached out recently or whenever the last time was, why haven't you all responded? Does he not have a good rapport with law enforcement, TBI? Are they agitated, aggravated with him, angry with him, don't want to talk because maybe they don't like his disposition? Well, they don't have a missing child. So you really can't tell a person how to feel, how to act, because we do this. We judge people according to their behavior. But if a person is calling too much, asking questions, giving their opinion, telling you things you really don't want to hear, you probably are not going to be receptive to talking to him or her. So what is the 411 between law enforcement and Seth Rogers? Also, what is the 411 between law enforcement and the other two parties, the bio mother and stepfather? What is the rapport between law enforcement and those rascals? I beg. Hate to ask. Jesus Christ. What a debacle.
Encourages people to keep saying his son's name until Sebastian is found.
Hello, Terry. Thank you for joining.
We're here because of Sebastian.
I'm going to keep looking for you until I find you. And if you see this, call me. You know my phone number. I won't change it. And I love you.
According to law enforcement, Sebastian was last seen in the beach area of Hendersonville. If you know anything about this case, you are asked to call authorities. We have that information up on our website, WKRN.com. Kenley?
Sorry about that. Commercials. Lordy. I'm gonna say it because it is what it is. All these conversations, as of late, have been with Seth Rogers on his own. You know, besides having Mr. Mathis beside him, with him in commentary, he's the only parent speaking about the child, which is a bad look, and that's just the way it is. You don't have to like it. I don't really care what anybody thinks because I am my own navigator. I run my ship. It's common sense. The man is crying on a live stream, which he cries often. Because that is what you're supposed to do when your child is missing, is cry. Shout, fall out, hit the wall. Hell yeah, that's my child. So it's very disturbing to keep seeing Seth Rogers as the only entity speaking up about his damn child, besides the few people who rallied beside him, which you heard a black woman speaking here in this commentary at the Vigil. This is ridiculous to me. So where are the other two? Where are you all? Why don't you all speak out about this child? Yet you're so worried about taking folks to court and arguing with who's stalking you and bothering your mama, your daddy, your cousin, your grandmama, the dog, the billy goat. You don't talk about the child. You gave up on YouTube. Thank you. We so happy. We don't know what to do. We're going to praise Jesus, Allah, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. But see, that's what happens in these true crime stories. I keep trying to tell people, pay attention. It's what you don't see is what gets people to talk and gossip. Say it again, Quay. It's what you don't see and hear is what get people to talk and gossip. So you can't go crying to the courts about what Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, Shamiqua said and did and what they doing. Well, you ain't doing your part, so that's why you got all these meddling ass Karens in your business. Capital letter B. I get it. You don't want nobody bothering you. You don't want nobody bothering you because you know how it looks. But you don't want to talk about this child. His name is Sebastian. Didn't you name him mother alongside Mr. Seth? Y'all had to agree on the name. So 15 years is just out of the window. Like that. Boom, Shazam. Boom, gone. He's gone. See, I believe all of this nonsense that has been transpiring with all of you is retribution. It's revenge is all it is. Now, this man wants to have hope for his child. As I said before, I'm not here to tell this man not to have faith that his child is alive. Many people are going to ask the question, well, why does he think he's alive with no information? Nothing coming from TBI, nothing coming from Sumner County. Well, he's entitled to think his child is alive because he's the father, you see. And understandably, you got to be in his shoes to understand. I'm not in his shoes, so I can see things differently than he sees. That's because, once again, I'm not in his shoes. So he gonna see the world different than what I see. And sometimes people need another eye to show them shit don't look good. So now let's ask Mr. Seth, why do you think your child is alive? You've been thinking this before Dog came along, before this task force came along. Why, sir, do you believe your child is alive? What instinct do you have to share with us why you think your child is alive? I'm just asking. Because the child might be alive. Most of us don't think that he is. Some of us, however you want to weigh it. Is the child alive, number one? If the child is alive, keep asking the same question. Where is it? Who got him? Why? You'll keep asking the same questions over and over, and you can't get an answer. Why not? Why hasn't law officials spoken about the child since April? You don't have no leads. Do you have leads, or you're not telling us the truth? Because you do have leads, but you can't tell us because you believe somebody's involved in the disappearance of the child, and then you'll be letting the perpetrator know you on their tail. Bingo card. Is that where we are? Just asking. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Where is this going? Is this a ruse, a hoax? Somebody's dicking these people around to give this man false hope about his child. What are the leads? Who are the leads? Are these credible, substantial leads from a human being with some sense and validity? Bring us a receipt. Tell us what you got. We're curious. People want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Who are you talking to? What have they said? Seen the child? Seen somebody look like the child? Seen what? What did somebody see or hear pertaining to this boy child? Or is it all a ruse? Fakeness, like that AI generated nonsense that came out of North Carolina that had us all spooked and up and aroused, and everybody's talking and gossiping and posting, and it wasn't the child. But still, there was some funny business with that. Come on with it, Queen. They don't want to hear the truth. There was funny business with that. Oh, that's not him. That's my child. Then everybody want to argue about, like right now, where is he? He over here, he over there. Well, you could bring up 1,000 places you think the child isn't alive. You still got to explain why he would be there. That's the one thing I don't ever hear when people come in the chat with, he over here, he over there. Then what the hell he doing over there then? Damn, I thought I was going to behave during this live stream. Hell no. I can't. Because I'm an advocate for the children. I'm an advocate for the children because somebody has to stand in the gap for the children, for the babies. And obviously somebody ain't standing in the gap for their own kid. So hell, somebody else has got to do it. Why aren't you standing in the gap for your children? Mr. and Mrs. such and such. Lord knows you got to be careful what you say up here. They like taking folks to court. Because that's all about Seth, as I told somebody in the chat comment box. And they agreed. Yes, Queen, I agree with you. It's all about Seth. Of course it is. Queen been in the world too long not to know better. Because the one thing I know is a two-legged, nasty-ass beast. I know what a two-legged creature will do because we're all flawed. We're all grimy at some point. Come on now. And people will do anything to get revenge, will they not? They'll hide a kid, kill a kid, beat a kid, neglect a kid, starve a kid. Woo! Queen, you touching now, I know. I came to ruffle your feathers. Because like they keep saying in all these news interviews, eventually some ruffling of the feathers is going to help somebody make a mistake. Bingo card. Woo! Shut your mouth. Somebody going to mess up. Somebody going to get caught doing something they ain't got no business. Because it happens all the time. Just when the perpetrator is comfortable, that's when they fuck up. Because you become lax in your behavior as a human. You've heard it said many times pertaining to rapists, serial killers, they fuck up. That's how they get caught. So I'm not here to say that this child is not alive. My opinion doesn't matter. But if indeed the child is not alive, you can best believe the perpetrator will fuck up. Or they, shall I say they, in case they're co-conspirators. Where is this child? Is he alive? Reward of $175,000. Vigil held for the child. Did these other two minions show up? Probably not. Are they talking to Seth? Probably not. Should they be talking to Seth? Hell yeah, they should. That's your child. You so busy worried about court and Betty Bullhorn and all that old fucking nonsense. Why you don't talk about your child? See, this is when you know that something ain't right because your priorities ain't about the boy. Come on, preach, Queen. It's still Sunday. Amen. say about this kid? Why not? You letting me know he ain't a priority? Because that's usually the reason that children get missing in the first place, is it not? Because they were never a priority. Spell it, Queen, capital letter P. He wasn't important. That's why he ain't here. It's almost a year. We're going to be eating turkey here in a few weeks. Then after that, we're going to be exchanging gifts. And after that, we're going to be celebrating a new year. And after that, we're going to be running the stores trying to see what we can take back to the store and get some new stuff marked down. Do you see where I'm going with this? Because time waits on no man body. That clock keeps ticking. So it don't matter what you owe, don't owe, ain't got. Father Time says, I got to keep on moving. And while time is moving and everybody's celebrating and getting ready for this and that, there's somebody that ain't here to speak for themselves. His name is Sebastian Rogers. But oh, does he have a story to tell? And the story needs to be told and regurgitated until he is found. And somebody don't want the story told. Come on, preach, Queen. Shall I ruffle your feathers tonight? Oh, hell yeah. See, you can't intimidate everybody and everyone. You might got you one monkey in the hole, but you can't put no more motherfucking monkeys in the hole. How about that? You think you got a victory with Betty? Think again. Because everybody ain't easily intimidated. And at some point, a judge gonna see something ain't right. Whether he in your pocket, in their pocket, they all want to jump on this bullshit country hillbilly nonsense going on down there. You can't take everybody to court, and everybody can't be lying. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, shit. Come on with it, Queen. Say it again. Everybody can't be lying. So what you do with one, you got to do with everybody. And eventually a judges is going to see, well, why you coming back in the court with another lawsuit, such and such? You see where I'm going? Because it ain't going to make no damn sense. None whatsoever. So we got a search. It's now international, says his investigators. Prayer vigil held for the boy child. Let's go back to what Mr. Seth and his friend, Mr. Mathis, had going on, dog, about obstruction of searches pertaining to the child. Why would this father not want other people to search for his son? It's because he don't want no more obstructions, no more problems, no more gossip. People pretending to search, but only doing it for attention, only wanting to chase the bag. As I said, YouTube is a hustle. It's just the way it is. It don't matter if you're talking about home decor, shopping at the thrift store, or a missing child. It's a hustle. No disrespect, but it is what it is. YouTube invented this. I didn't. And nor did any of the other YouTubers. And can it get hectic up here? Of course it can. Backbiting, mudslinging? Of course it can, because we're of the flesh. People ain't really caring about Sebastian? Of course. Because they probably don't care about the damn selves. Kind of like what happened to the boy. If indeed he was taken out by a perpetrator, it's the same game. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about no child. So you can expect a YouTuber, TikToker to do the same. A person commenting in the chat to do the same. The game is the same, you see. The game is always the same. WKRA News 2 is the source of this information. Eventually they do tell on themselves, amen.
They claim claim the YouTuber and TikToker are obstructing the search for Sebastian Rogers. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry breaks down statements included in this lawsuit.
An 18-page injunction backed by a 323-page list of exhibits and testimonies was filed last Friday. The plaintiffs include Dog the Bounty Hunter, Sebastian Rogers' father, Seth, and the father's spokesperson, Tony Mathis, as well as YouTuber Andrew Griffin. The lawsuit alleges two influencers, a YouTuber and TikToker, created a, quote, coordinated campaign of cyber harassment, false allegations, and witness intimidation. The lawsuit ties back to the search for missing Sumner County teen Sebastian Rogers. He was last seen in February at his family home in Hendersonville. Dog the Bounty Hunter joined the search for Sebastian in September and added $75,000 to the reward for information, now totaling $125,000. The plaintiffs claim the influencers encourage their subscribers to flood tip lines, and law enforcement with false reports have threatened Dog the Bounty Hunter and other searchers, allegedly slowing down critical travel and coordination for search efforts. A spokesperson for Sebastian's father said one of the influencers threatened to, quote, take him down, while Sebastian's dad wrote, quote, I'm fighting against a coordinated group of individuals who seem more interested in destroying me than helping to find my boy. He went on to say, quote, if my son dies out there, they'll have blood on their hands. The lawsuit urges the influencers to stop any disparaging comments about the plaintiffs, remove any previous video content doing so, and ask their subscribers to follow their example. A press conference was scheduled for today in Pennsylvania, where the influencers live, to address the filed lawsuit. But according to At Night Private Intelligence Agency, the conference was postponed due to, quote, reports of individuals arranging for a marching band to interrupt the conference, along with other suspicious messages.
In a letter included in the court documents, the lawyer for the YouTuber writes the allegations are, quote, baseless and without legal foundation. News 2 reached out to all parties involved and has not heard back. If you have any information to the whereabouts of Sebastian Rogers, you can find a list of numbers to call on our website at WKRN.com.
See, this is why I have a problem with this nonsense up here on YouTube. Naturally, everybody's not going to agree about a case. People are entitled to change their mind about how they feel about the case and the people who they think are involved. But naturally, when you say things, they can be held against you. It's just like when you get arrested. Anything you say can be held against you in a court of law. Okay? But where I have the problem, why are you threatening him? This is what I don't understand. I don't have that kind of time. That's why I know a lot of you are not really into finding Sebastian. Because if this is what you have to do with your time, it's sending nasty emails, letters to him, Tony, this person, that person, TBI, whoever you sending them to, shit, Mickey Mouse, I don't know. That's a sign that you're not mentally stable. Just keeping it real. You ain't gotta like it. But your ass ain't wrapped tight. First of all, it ain't your kid. Come on with it, Queen. They don't want to hear the truth. That's not your kid missing. So what are you getting ready to gain by what? Trying to obstruct somebody searching? What do you care? What do you care who's searching? A lot of people searching aren't really searching. That's first and foremost. 2, they're in it for attention. 3, might be a small, minute chance that somebody really cares about the child and searching. But stalking the people and trying to follow them around and get in their inbox and chase them on social media, what is the point? So you worried about if Seth is searching. You worried about who helping Seth. That's bothering you. That's why you know something wrong with most of you. You got a fucking mental problem. You need to seek therapy. Get off of social media. Because some of you are doomed and you don't even realize it. You got YouTube up your ass that you can't even think straight. This leads me to believe this is how you act in your own life. Checkmate. Come on with it, Queen. They don't want to hear it. To get yourself so immersed in these people's lives to where you can't even think and navigate on your own because you don't do nothing with yourself. You cut your computer, your phone off. You finding ways to infiltrate a case that really don't concern you. Don't use adjectives. It don't concern you. It ain't none of your damn business. See, that's an old saying, sweep in front of your own front porch. Exactly. Sweep in front of your own door. Street slang. As far as searching for the kid, old saying, the right hand don't tell the left hand what it's doing. So you don't need to announce when you're searching. Once you saw what you were dealing with, Mr. Rogers, I would never tell nobody when I was going to search. I wouldn't say nothing. I would gather my entourage and we would search. And I would tell them, don't engage with anybody on social media, in the public, about the search. Don't talk about it. See, you got to know how to navigate, you see, because the devil is busy and he is always going to try to infiltrate. But what you got to know is how to handle the devil. See, some of you don't know how to handle Lucifer. Oh, because he real. Oh, he real all day long. And he uses people, which is what is going on in this case. He got a whole bunch of minions out here trying to infiltrate some shit that don't concern them. I'm not going to go out here worried about what Seth Rogers is doing, Tony Mathis, Betty Bullhorn, and nobody else. I don't care. And I ain't got to sit up here and make no motherfucking videos about them every fucking day about what they doing and not doing. Because I got better things to do with my fucking time. And I ain't trying to get my channel taken down because of foolishness. I ain't got to agree with Seth every day. I ain't got to agree with the other two every day. The point is, you got to know when to fold and let it go. Some of you don't know how to let it go. Because you want to be right. And see, being right will get you fucked up. And that's what you don't understand. This is not a game. This is not a game of chess. This is not Connect Four. This is not Monopoly. This is a whole child missing. This is a child missing that don't belong to you. This ain't your child. This ain't your niece. This ain't your nephew. You don't know the boy. You don't know the parents. You don't know shit. You got to know when to leave well enough alone. That goes for everybody involved. Everybody. So I'm addressing everybody. Before somebody come in this chat and want to get jiggy. I'm addressing everybody. You got to know when to fold. You got to know when to be quiet. You got to know when to move quietly. When you know the enemy is amongst you, you got to know how to move. You don't tell every damn thing. Everybody knows that. Just like when you're going to apply for a job. Sometimes you don't tell people you're going to apply for a certain job. You don't need nobody knowing you're going over here to Costco or you're going over here to Amazon. Why you going to tell the devil where you're going? Woo! Come on, preach, Queen. You don't tell the devil shit. He already lurking. What you going to give me ammunition for? Yeah, I'm going to Amazon tomorrow. I got an interview at 1 p.m. Well, the devil don't want you to get the job. So what the hell you telling the devil for? Well, it's the same thing in this case. Stop telling stuff. Take it from an old 53-year-old head. Stop announcing stuff. That's how you beat the devil. Don't post it to TikTok. Don't post it to YouTube. Don't tell the news. Don't do shit. Just move silently. That's how you do that. You see, the devil is busy. So don't announce nothing. Now, some of you will agree that what he's doing is right. Some will say it's wrong. He don't need to be suing nobody. Well, some will say the same thing about them other people. Suing Betty Bullhorn. Are you really intimidated by her? Were you really intimidated by her? Because from my understanding, your family was doing cutthroat shit too, trying to deter people from searching. So how is it you fucking with people in the street is different than what Betty Bullhorn was allegedly doing to you? What's the difference? Tit for tat. Stay woke. What's the old saying about the goose and the gander? Exactly. Pot can't talk about the damn kettle. So that's how people work. I can do all the dirt I want, but you can't do it to me. Oh, hell yeah, it's going to get done to you because you're doing grimy SHIT. So hell yeah, it's going to get done to you. And that other side, you can chase everybody you want into the courtroom. You can't stop everybody from talking about you. You're going to take half of New York to court. You're going to take half of Tennessee to court. Because you don't like people talking about you. You think they chasing you. They following you. I wouldn't waste a piece of gas to go down to Tennessee. I'm already in Tennessee. But further down Tennessee, you think I'm going to go waste some gas to sit outside their fucking house? I'm going to sit up here and mess with the mama, the sister, the brother, the cousin. I'm not going to go mess with no white folks. First of all, I'm a black person. Do the math. I'll be the first one they own. Man, what are you doing in this neighborhood? You don't live here, blah, 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 blah. Then I got to, talk crazy. Let them know you infringing on my rights. You falling in behind me. Oh, I'm a blogger. I'm just trying to get the scoop. Hell yeah, I'll be the first one in jail just because I'm black. Yeah. Different strokes for different folks. So whether you white, black, Chinese, Asian, whatever the hell you are, man, leave that trash alone. Just let that trash sit where it's at. Let that trash sit where it's at. That old saying about let sleeping dogs lie. There's a reason that saying was made. Because you have to know when to move silently. Let it be. You can't argue with folks every day. You can't get your point across every day. You can't tell people when you're making moves every day. Be quiet. They want to think you're not doing nothing. Let them think that. They ain't heard from you in a while. Let them think that. Move quietly. Now, I get it. His name needs to stay out here. Maybe somebody will come forward, tell something they saw, they heard. Sad if somebody's only doing it for the almighty dollar, because we have people like that. They're only in it for the money. But the reward is at $175,000. Amen. But it's still sad and it's pathetic that a reward has to be put up for somebody missing. But somebody knows something, because somebody always know. And what'll be sad is that there are co-conspirators in this story. Let's hear what Vinnie Politan has to say about Sebastian Rogers. Thank you so very much for joining this network. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app and take the polls on my community page. After I play a little bit of Vinnie Politan, we're going to go over to my community page and hear what you all have to say about Sebastian Rogers in this case. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. The link is in the chat if you want to come up here and give your 411. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. Don't cost a thing.
Sebastian Rogers did not just disappear. It doesn't work that way. Children don't vanish. Something happens to them, which means someone knows something, someone is responsible. Bottom line to all of this. We're going to talk about Sebastian Rogers because we need to talk about Sebastian Rogers. We can't forget Sebastian Rogers and all the other missing children out there. And in this Tangent podcast with me, Al Wunsch, and Jonesy, we'll take a look at the case. We'll take a look at the drama surrounding this case and try to come to some conclusion here about, like, everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants Sebastian found except the people or person
Exactly.
who's responsible for his disappearance.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line.
That's Vinny's conversation. That's his opinion, but I do agree. Whether the child is alive or deceased, somebody does not want him found. That's the bottom line. That is the reason for the other side obstructing people from searching in the beginning, because you did not want the child found. Why is that? So whether we believe the child is alive or not, that other side didn't want the child found. Bottom line, why not? You did everything you could to get people to not look for the boy child. Why not? You were the ones who were taking care of him. Why not? Say it again, Queen. Why not? Why not? There's a reason. And it can't mean but one or two things. You hurt the child and he is no longer alive, or the child is hidden. Take your pick. But those people don't care nothing about the child. That's my opinion. And they don't want the child found. That's my opinion. You're talking about 9 months in plus. Somebody don't want the child found, bottom line. So you can decide whoever you believe don't want the child found. You can believe the child's alive. You can believe the child is deceased. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but somebody don't want them found, and that's obvious. And you're entitled to your opinion on who you think don't want them found. And as I said, whether he's alive or deceased, you're going to fuck up. Because I know at this point, you think you're comfortable. And that was the reason why you carried your ass over here to YouTube, because you got too comfortable. Woo! Come on, preach, Queen. Yeah, I'm saying that. You got too comfortable. And that's what creatures do, because most of us are predictable. We get too lax in our behavior. And what do you do when you get lax? You fuck up. Because you're too comfortable. And you start talking, you start saying stuff you ain't got no business, such as talking bad about a child on a live podcast. Who the fuck does that? Who talks about a kid that's missing in a negative, derogatory manner? Who talks about their personal hygiene? You don't do that because you don't supposed to do it if they living. You're talking about a kid. I'm not talking about an adult. Hey, Billy Bob's got bad breath. Hey, Billy Bob don't wipe his tail good. You see where I'm going with that? Billy Bob can defend himself, whether it's true or not. A child ain't supposed to defend themselves, whether they're alive or not. Checkmate. So what was that all about? As I said, lax, comfortable. Because you know the person ain't going to defend themselves. And why wouldn't a person defend themselves? If they ain't around. If they ain't around.
Vinnie Politan, he's Al, he's Jonesy. This is the Tangent Podcast.
Brief music. Where is the child? Where can he be located? Who has more to gain in the child being hidden or not alive? What's the truth? Where is this child? Somebody knows something. It's the bottom line. Somebody knows something. It's just a matter of who's going to tell the truth to where this child can be found, located, alive or deceased. Bottom line.
I know I am.
And who are you?
I am Albert H. Wunsch III.
I own a mansion and a yacht.
I own a mansion and a yacht. And what's it called? If you have a call, give me a call as an attorney. So, and a proud member of the Monday night court TV show with Vinnie Politan, which will not
By the way, no show this Monday.
I was going to say, which will not be on this Monday, but ordinarily closing arguments has me on 8 to 9 every Monday night.
This is courtesy of Vinnie Politan. They need to get past all that. Hear what they got to say.
End their life, or they may just want to live a life anonymously somewhere else, and they just won't.
I want to say. Sebastian Rogers did not just disappear. That's his commentary.
To the Radio Mohicans. Jones.
All right, the bottom line here, Sebastian Rogers did not just disappear. He disappeared. He vanished. And, when we cover stories like this, it to me, it's frustrating when, like, I use the word to say they disappeared because we can't point the finger at anyone. We don't want to give up hope that the missing person is alive. So a lot of times I'll say they seemingly vanished, but we know people don't seemingly vanish, right? There's a couple situations. One, they can just on their own disappear. I've seen that, right? People who just are checking out of life, and they may want to end their life, or they may just want to live a life anonymously somewhere else and they just walk away, right? That's one possibility. Then there's the possibility that something accidental happens and, there's no evidence of it behind. Like, where is that? That to me, that doesn't exist. And then there's foul play. Like, someone is responsible. This is a teenage boy. He's a teenager with autism, but was, he was a teenager. Like a teenager, if he's going to want to just like run away and disappear, there's no way that with all the attention on this case, that is what happened here. Do you agree, Al, that is just like out of the possibilities that he just decided to walk out of the house and run away from home and never be seen again?
I absolutely agree. I mean, these are the cases that tug on your heartstrings and just it's the fact of the unknown that is so terrible. I always thought about these issues with regards to families that get, missing in action notices that the families in the military and they're missing in action and you don't know where they are and there's no closure and there's no explanation. There's nothing there. You live in a keep a light burning in the window. So you live in a weird type of world where you're hoping one day you're going to get a knock on the door and it's going to be that person. And you keep hope alive because that's all you have is hope. It's just and for a family to lose a child this way and to not know what happened, you're hoping for that, but you start to lose hope, and it's just very, very sad. It's just a tragedy across the board.
Yeah, but Joe, I'm looking at this, and I just don't feel like this is like if it's an adult, I've covered stories where adults have purposely
ran off,
disappeared,
right,
like into the wind. I've seen accidental cases where you think someone's missing, but maybe they drove the car into a pond and there's no evidence of it anywhere. But in today's world, with the cameras where they are, with tracking cell phones and everything else, and he's just a teenager. He's not going to be able to do that. That is to me
exactly
is not even on the table.
Exactly.
Well, he's not self-sufficient.
Exactly.
And, the fact that he hasn't been seen, and combined with him not being able to take care of himself, or for that matter, take off and have a plan. That's highly unusual, but also it doesn't. I know you're all about hope, Vinnie, but it doesn't leave me with a whole lot of hope.
I'm going to stop there. That's Mr. Jonesy speaking. I agree. I agree with Mr. Politan. I agree with Mr. Jonesy. One, it don't appear he ran off. Does not appear to me that the child ran off. He's not self-sufficient. I don't think he was self-sufficient. The father had said that early on. So when you listen at that commentary from the own father, because the father should know his own child, you can't honestly think that he ran off. Ran off how? Why wouldn't he take his phone? Why wouldn't he wear shoes? Wouldn't he have came back to the house by now? He knows his father's phone number. You heard in the earlier commentary from the news. I got the same number. I'm not going to change it. Wouldn't he call the number if he knows the number? Bingo card. Come on with it, Quinn. Everything that's predictable, the child has not done. So the child didn't erase numbers out. If somebody was trying to lure him out, he wouldn't have the fortitude to say, well, let me erase this number so nobody can find me or track this person that I'm trying to meet up with. See, you got to pay attention to the details, because that's why I keep trying to tell people, a lot of people don't want to hear the details because they have their own sick ideologies of what they think happened. But I pay attention to the details. The details have already telling you the story, if you're willing to listen, because the information is sitting right there in front of you. He left with nothing. He's not self-sufficient. And then there's the issue of the version. Let me speak on this because I have not spoke on it in the earlier content. The version of the black clothing, that's from the bio donor. Bring a receipt. He was last seen at. Bring a receipt. Woo! Come on, Queen. Yeah, we're going to have church tonight. That's a version. He was last seen at Stafford Court. Bring a receipt. He was wearing this, this, and this. Bring a receipt. Because the evidence is saying he ain't left nowhere. He ain't went nowhere. He wasn't lured from nowhere. Then why would I believe he had on a black shirt, black pants, black socks, white socks? Do you see where I'm going with this? Somebody didn't hear me. Why should I believe anything from that side of the pond? Because I don't have to. See, Seth wants hope because that's his child. He don't want to believe the worst has happened. Because, see, let me take you into the abyss if you're willing to go there with me. In order for Seth to believe his child is deceased, he has to also reconcile that the child was murdered by somebody. Woo! Checkmate. Lord have mercy. Lord, can I get a witness? See, that's why people don't want to think about death. Or shall I say murder? Because in order to think about homicide, I got to not equate homicide with another two-legged creature or more. Now I got to go into the abyss to worry about who the hell could have done it to my child. And then I got to worry about what I might want to do to them, knowing or thinking they hurt my child. Uh-oh. You didn't think about that, did you? Because that's a hell of a burden to one, think of your child dead, but then to think of your child murdered. Because there is a difference, natural death and homicide. And in order for me to reconcile homicide, I got to also reconcile that they left here by a human hand, plural. Now I got to walk around with that in my head. You took my child. Why? Why did you take mine? That's mine, as he said once. Ooh, I tell you, I got to chill up my spine when he said that one day. That's my child. Exactly. That would be a horrible feeling to think that despite what I know of you and what I feel about you and your counterpart and counterparts, but the fact that you would take my child, why would you snuff out mine? When you could have handed him to me on a silver platter. But see, this is why I keep trying to tell everybody, you all ain't really listening. Because the folks have been spinning you the story, you don't want to hear it. But I'm woke. Because if there's one thing I know a two-legged creature, and I know what to expect from them. They will fuck up and they will stab you in your throat, not your back. Say it again, Queen. They will stab you in your throat while you looking. Shit, it's a new day. Throat stabbers, not backstabbers, baby. Don't get it twisted. You see, you ain't got to agree with getting rid of no kid. It ain't for you to agree with. You ain't got to agree with the motive. Somebody got tired of being a parent. They want it out. Do you understand? I want out. I want to be free. Look up the song. Come back and holler at me. I want to be free. I don't want to take care of no handicapped kid. I don't want to be bothered with him no more. I done my part. I done my share. I'm done. Happens every day. It's only rare because of his age. The statistics are low on the age of unaliving a child at that age. But the mind will tell you and do what it want to do. So it don't matter about the age. See, that's where we get it twisted, trying to rely on some stats. The stats say most children are unalived by their parents. That's per the TBI. Okay, you're talking about 400, 500 a year. That's a lot of damn dead kids. Most of the children are under a certain age. You know, newborn, toddler, under 8. Rarely 15, 16 years of age. Because the child is almost near self-sufficiency. So this is where Queen can tie it in. Come on, bring it home, Queen. He ain't going to be self-sufficient at 18, perhaps. Now, all children with autism, everybody ain't the same. You hear adults saying, well, I got autism, I do this. But they can, drive a car, put a key in the door, unlock it. They know how to cook on the stove, turn the stove off. But everybody ain't the same. That's the point. And perhaps this ain't the child that was going to be able to go out here and navigate. We ain't going to know because he ain't here for us to see if he could ever navigate at 18, 17. He didn't get the chance. And that's the point. Because I've met a lot of people who are mentally challenged or have some type of disability. And trust me, they got keys to a door and they don't need no fucking key. Don't get me started. Trust me, I'm surrounded by people who got keys to doors and they don't need no key because they ain't got the mindset to operate an apartment. But people rent to them anyway, and that's a dangerous thing. So we don't know what he could have done. But the father told us at the moment, no, he ain't self-sufficient. As you hear this commentary of Vinnie Politan and his guests, he didn't appear self-sufficient. So he ain't hiding nothing about who he calling, who he talking to, erasing telephone numbers. That's why he wasn't lured nowhere. By now they would have led us to somebody that called the child, talked to the child. So ain't nothing left but where the fuck he was staying. And a version of what he was wearing. That don't mean nothing to me. Bring me a receipt he had on black pants, black shirt. Bring me a receipt that he made it home from the restaurant to his house. He was last seen at Stafford Court. Who last saw him? I didn't. Did the neighbor see him? Did a neighbor see him walk out to a garbage can mailbox on Sunday? Did a neighbor see him get out of a car? Probably not. Because you probably would have heard it by now. No, the car probably went into the garage as to conceal not seeing him come or go. Bingo card. Come on with it. I'm woke. Are you woke?
No, it absolutely does. I mean, there's a level of someone, and then it comes down to two things, like some level of foul play where something happened and, someone disposed of, and I hate saying it, but I'm going to, like someone disposed of him and his remains. It's something foul play happened on the front end. On the back end, the other possibility is being lured out, right? Like he could physically leave the house himself. He's not a toddler, but then someone would have to actually lure him out, which again is a level of foul play, but the circumstances surrounding it are a little bit different. But what from the beginning has had me frustrated here is that there's no suspects, there's no evidence of foul play, and it's like we're standing around like, okay, so he just disappeared, and to me that's not acceptable.
Exactly.
Yes, and it shouldn't be acceptable. And I'm hoping that by doing this, and we've done this topic several times, that we find this boy, we bring him home. And that's really the key to me, is and anyone who's lost. And I always find it to be very, very just, that's what I'm looking for. When I see the pictures of these kids that are missing, and then, they've been missing for years, and then what they do is they show what these kids should be looking like now. It really just absolutely just guts me each time I see that. And just thinking about, like, look at this child that was my kid, and I didn't get to see him or her for 8 years, 10 years, or whatever, and how they've grown, and how they're different than the child that walked out the door, or that was taken, or that had disappeared or vanished. It's just so humbling of an experience, and to think about anyone like these people having to live like that, it's just horrendous.
So what's happened in this story, in this saga, is it's off the rails to a certain extent, right? I mean, I think if push comes to shove and you talk to anyone online about this, if you talk to anyone from Hendersonville, if you talk about people connected to this, they all want the same thing, right? Which is to find Sebastian and to find him, find out what happened, and if the foul play is involved, find those responsible and hold them responsible, right? So everyone has seemingly that same goal, but because of this case and the way it has broken down, first between his parents, right? His mother and father are not together. Seth has been on my show many times. He's on one side. The mother had physical custody. He was at the mother's house at the time that he, again, seemingly vanished. And they're not seeing eye to eye. They're not working together. And the last time Seth was on my show, it was very clear that he believes that something happened, and they know, and they're not speaking, and they need to come forward and tell the world, tell law enforcement, tell him what happened. And he was, I've seen sort of the evolution of Seth, where he's, times we've seen reaching out to the other side, and other times I had him on, he was very guarded with what he was saying. But as time has gone on, the frustrations of Sebastian's father, Seth, have grown, and it's manifested itself in some unfortunate ways online, where...
Brief intermission. Manifested itself. Yeah. Because cases like this take a detour. It leads itself out into the abyss because everybody wants to give their 411 pertaining to what happened. And that's what sadly happens in these cases now that we have social media. Everybody can weigh in on what they think happened to the child, so on and so forth, who's involved. And it can get very nasty, as you have seen here on YouTube. It has got ripe. Very ripe.
From his perspective, there's people online or private investigators, to me it's kind of gray area what's going on, who seem to be harassing him and the people he has organized to try to help find Sebastian. And then on the other hand, the stepfather and the mother brought actions against a YouTuber known as Bullhorn Betty. She's been around for some time. Again, a polarizing personality on YouTube. I don't judge anyone. I just, I accept them for who they are, and just hope that everyone is here for the same reasons, right? In the true crime community, when there's a missing child, everyone's focused on the missing child. When someone is responsible, they're focused on justice, right? Those are the two places. But she was brought into court, and there's a restraining order for her to stay away from Sebastian's mother and stepfather. And, she testified, and we covered it on court TV. But all this drama on the outside, restraining orders and the noise, to me, and Jonesy, I'm interested in your thoughts on this, that there is a grain of that's actually good because it keeps the story alive.
True.
And it keeps Sebastian's image public. So when someone sees something, they may have the knowledge of who this missing child is and what he looks like. We saw that manifest itself in an arrest stop in, I think it was Maryland or Virginia. It seemed like, this might have been him. It turned out, I guess, not to be him, but someone knew what Sebastian looked like, and this kid looked like Sebastian. So to me, there's a grain of goodness to the noise and the controversy. But the downside is there a loss of focus at that point?
Yes, it is.
And the focus being obviously Sebastian. What are your...
I'm going to interject there. That's where there's a problem, the downfall. The making up of stuff, passing information. So him bringing up this incident pertaining to the image of him, the AI-generated image of the child out of North Carolina, which was faux information, goes back to my title. Is this a hoax of this information coming from Oregon and New York and Canada? Because we've already been down this road before. Shall I take you back? The AI-generated photo was not him. No sighting of him. Lady says it wasn't Sebastian, her son. Information of somebody thinking they found glasses, pants, all fake, fraudulent, not true information. People coming up with information of where they think the child is hidden. So that's why I said, could this all be a ruse to deter the truth? Because if you go back in time, we've already been down this road, have we not? Eyeglasses, pants, seen in North Carolina, different people accusing associates of the family hiding the child out in North Carolina. You remember that was one of your lines? Some of you, oh, he's in North Carolina because of sister, blah, blah, blah. Then you went to Georgia. Then you went to Oklahoma because of the taco guy. Yeah, I'm going to say it. You all put it out there, so we're going to talk about it. So you done went from North Carolina, Georgia, Oklahoma, California. Somebody mentioning California today. I don't want to hear that type of nonsense because it's nonsense. Because like I said, if you're going to mention one state, you have to mention how many states that these people know, people been there, lived there. Oh, Virginia, yeah. Mama, sister live in Virginia. The bio mother, sister, mama, whoever. Where you going to stop? That's my point. Where you going to stop? Now we all the way up near the damn border, New York. Oregon. Oregon is way over here, west. New York is way over here, east. Come on with it, Queen. Canada sits above the United States going in either direction. So where did you see this child? I'm curious. They want to pinpoint all these places, bus stations, motels. Has somebody seen the child in either state? Number one. Was he seen in Canada? Number two. Did somebody cross him over with a fake identity and ID? I didn't mention that in the last live. We're going to mention it now. Why would he be in Canada? Why would he be in Oregon? Why would he be in New York? Somebody saying in the chat or the comment box, oh, they're moving him around. For what? You're moving him around what? Hidden under a blanket? Wouldn't you sit still with a stolen child? Kidnapped child? Moving a child around from place to place is more dangerous. He's bigger. He can fight back. He can argue. Hey, what you doing? Hey, I don't want to go there. Hey, I want to sit down. Hey, I want an ice cream. Hey, see where I'm going? He is not a toddler. He is older. Make it make sense. What they do? Get rid of his glasses, dye his hair? Come on, keep it real. Hair longer, put on weight, what? You're not going to be out in public moving a child his size around. It's too dangerous. Small child, but not an older child. If he went somewhere, he was still motionless. And then you got to ask the ultimate question. Why, and why? Who and why? Why are you hiding him out? Number one. What do you have to gain from hiding him out? How long are you going to keep him hidden? Pay attention. Make it make sense. You're not going into Canada with no fake shit. It's going to have to be proper documents. So I don't believe that. Too risky carrying them over into Canada. They're going to have video surveillance if you're going in or coming out. So what? Now you got to say that the person that took them to Canada, they were disguised. Come on with it, Queen. Ain't nobody listening. Seth, I hope he's listening. Because you have to use deduction when you're talking about traveling overseas. And when you're talking about going into Canada, Canada don't play about you coming and going. It ain't like over here where everybody coming through a hole and through the pond and a river to get to America from Mexico. No, Canada ain't that type of playhouse. You ain't just carrying your ass over there. I can tell you that now. I know, I speak from experience. Because I was crossing in and out after 9/11. And trust me, they want to know who, where, why, how long you're going to be gone. So you fast forward to 2024, 20 years later. I'm supposed to sit here and believe somebody took him over there? Hell no. If so, hey, bring me a receipt. So who is the person giving this high task force information about Oregon, New York, Canada, on the border? Make it make sense. Where are they getting this information? Who's bringing this information? Is the information legitimate? Is it somebody who had the child and got rid of the child? Child ain't alive, but these people are cohorts, co-conspirators to getting rid of the child. But you still got to go back to, well, he didn't leave the house. So how's somebody going to have him at Canada, Oregon, New York if he ain't never left his house? Bingo card. Bam. I'm woke.
Thoughts, Jonesy, about all the noise on social media that is turning into restraining orders and cease and desist orders on all ends versus trying to find this child?
I think you hit on the only positive that I could think of, which is that it keeps the story afloat, that it keeps it in people's eyes. But by the same token, it also distracts from the end goal.
The truth, exactly.
Which is to find the kid. And, bickering among the people who are supposed to, should care the most, isn't good. I think that distracts from like the end goal. Now, of course, if anybody sees the child, they're going to do something about it, but it's not good.
No,
I don't know if it's good at all. And as far as like Bullhorn Betty, I don't know much about her. I don't think that's
Adam drives Helen. He's like, that's exactly, every time I say her name, that's what I do. Bullhorn Betty, bam, lamb, Bullhorn Betty, bam, lamb. Right? Like, and because anytime I hear phrases, for some reason, I don't know if it happens to you, Jones, and you, Alex, I know you both love music as much as I do, but there are phrases and songs that will run around my head when I hear certain words. It triggers. Yeah. And every time I hear Bullhorn Betty, yeah, I am with Adam Drives Helen, and I'm Bullhorn Betty, bam, lamb.
I don't know nothing about what they talking about.
No. I mean, it's actually it's a way to remember it, and it's actually fun to kind of put.
But does it happen to you, Al? Does it? Yes. When someone says a phrase and it's like a lyric of a song, do you start like singing the song in your head?
I had a case that was ended up going to the Supreme Court of New Jersey, and after I had won 2 levels, I lost up there. And the case was the plaintiff's name was Gianni, and all I could do was like the Fine Young Cannibal song, which was Johnny, and I go Gianni, dun, 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 and I would just constantly be doing that. And here I am arguing in front of the Supreme Court, and that song is in my head, and all I could keep was like just that without laughing. It was just ridiculous. But it's interesting then that we're talking about this missing child, because on this day.
Brief intermission. He's doing a civil war. What the hell are they talking about? It's a brief commercial. There's been no respect for the child. That's my opinion. That's why it jumps off into all these other tangents of people arguing, fussing. Some of you are not going to agree that either side should be going to court and taking people to court for cease and desist and restraining orders, because it does take away from the child. Now, the parents may not agree, but in my opinion, it does, because it gives people something else to talk about, which is not Sebastian. You may not like where things are going as a parent. You don't like, what people are saying about your child and you on, channels and TikTok videos. That's understandable. But it becomes a circus, and that's what this case has become. Just like most of the cases I've covered pertaining to children missing, the Quentin Simon, that was a circus. Summer Wells, that was a circus. Camille McKinney, that was a circus. Every story that I've talked about pertaining to a child, the story ended up playing out on YouTube and social media, which it shouldn't, but it does, because we have social media. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if we didn't have, YouTube and Facebook and news breakout where you can, complain and voice your opinion under the video, under the articles. But it is what it is. People want to give their opinion. And now your opinion floats and it gets views and it gets millions of views. It goes viral and it's just floating out there. And people are sending it to you through your phone, through your message system, Messenger, whatever. And it just regurgitates itself. And that's exactly what is happening with this case here. It's just a sick regurgitation of a child missing. And there are a lot of people who I don't believe are genuinely serious about finding him. They're not genuine in their content about him. They're not. Because they be all over the place in their content. 1 minute you're over here, the next minute you're mad, the next minute you're cussing this person out, the next minute you're cussing this person out. You don't even know what side you want to be on, because you're all over the place. 1 minute you're okay with the man, then the next minute you're talking about the man like a dog. Next minute you're talking bad about the other two, then you acting like you siding with them. You don't know where you want to be. Because that's the point. In the end, we don't know what happened to the child. We can assume what we think happened to him, but we really don't know. We can just say how it looks. It looks bad, and it does. It looks very bad.
On 11/8/1960, JFK was elected president in a very, very close race.
Let me get on. They got to get on with this now. Hold on.
History. Okay, on this date in
Well, I'm going to stop it there because I ain't ready to go through all that. But that's Mr. Politan, Vinnie Politan, if you need a verification for this content. Sebastian Rogers did not just disappear. The Tangent podcast was uploaded 2 days ago. I'm 1 hour and 17 minutes into this live stream. I came back on because I wanted to, try to chop it up with the chat. Let people, get an opportunity if they wanted to, join the Queen and give their commentary. But the end is always the same. Pertaining to this case and a few others that have made it to social media naturally. You have to start with what is, and that something was not right. That's the very reason why the cases go downhill very fast on social media. And you see this a lot also with missing cases of adults. That Miss Miller missing, preacher husband business. It gets real nasty because there was something awry in the first place. That's why. And this case is no different. There was obviously bad blood between Mr. Seth and the other entities. And I do believe that is the reason why the child is not here and not visible. So you're entitled to believe that the child's alive. You're entitled to believe that the child is deceased. You're entitled to your opinion. But I do believe whatever was going on between those entities is the reason why the child is not visible. And I don't know if I believe this information about Oregon, New York, because I don't know what the information is per se. If somebody would like to enlighten us on the information, that would be great. This woman who was speaking in the commentary believes there's some validity to whatever the information is. That's her perception. Like I said, I don't know because I don't know what the information is. But I have to ask the obvious question. It would have to do with another human being. So what would it be? What is it about? Do you all believe that this child traveled up here to these entities with a said person? Do you believe a person in one of these entities has knowledge about the child. So which is it? The child traveled there in one of these locales? The child was seen in one of these locales? Or somebody who has something to do with the crime was seen in these locales? With what? Evidentiary material, hiding evidence, covering what? Make it make sense. We're going to go to my community page where I asked you all questions pertaining to this content and my content earlier about the monkeys that escaped from South Carolina lab. So I'm going to read all that as I wrote it on the page to give you the results of the polls. Thank you for joining me. New information 3 days ago from Court TV pertaining to Brian Korberger could face the firing squad. As I put above that video, I could care less because I could care less. I don't care what happens to him. In this commentary, in this live stream, if you're just now joining, I talk about the reward at $175,000 for Sebastian Rogers, Dog the Bounty Hunter, and his agency joining the search. New information coming out of Oregon, New York, the border, Canada. Don't know what it's all about. WKRN is the source of that information. Feel free to go back to the beginning of the live to hear that information, or check it in the YouTube queue or my community page. Also, we go back in time to cease and desist letters by Mr. Rogers and his camp against social media people, entities who claim they're not doing anything, they're not obstructing anything. You're entitled to your opinion about that information. Also, a vigil was held. He's crying in that interview because obviously he misses his son. His son is not at his home. His son is not visible for him to speak to or talk to. He misses his child. As he should. You don't hear anything from the other parents. Or shall I say, egg donor and company. You don't hear anything from them. You don't hear anything from their side of the family. Why not? This is why many people feel like they are involved, because they don't have anything to say about the child. They haven't had anything to say about the child in months. And when they did talk about him, it was derogatory and it was up here on YouTube, which was disrespectful. And that leads me to believe, as I said, that they're involved, because they had no business talking about him in a derogatory manner, period. You had no business up here and on any network talking about him, whether it be the Nancy Grace, Court TV. And don't you find it interesting? You didn't talk about him like a dog to Nancy Grace. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Being submissive to Nancy Grace. How funny is that? Submissive to Court TV. But you can go to a YouTuber and let your hair down and talk about your child like a damn dog. I'll let that sit right there. Nearing 9 months in the Sebastian Rogers case of no info or updates, do investigators have a leads? 26 votes. 23% yes, 46% no, 23% not sure, 8% 50-50. Does the Sheriff TBI agree with the new info on Sebastian Rogers? 6% says yes, 38% says no, 50% not sure, 6% 50-50. So 6% yes, 38% no, 50% not sure, and 6% 50-50. Will Sumner County Sheriff speak on new info about Sebastian? 47% says never. Yes, 0%. Not sure, 21%. Hope so, 32%. Is this alleged new info coming from Canada, Oregon, and New York about Sebastian a hoax? 44% yes, 44% not sure, 13% 50-50. Now, back to the information I brought to you earlier in my live pertaining to the primates that escaped the South Carolina lab by the name of Alpha Genesis. It's off topic, but I'm bringing you the stats anyway. One monkey has been recovered from the Alpha Genesis lab in South Carolina. Should it be illegal in all states to have wildlife as indoor pets? 72% says yes, 17% no, 10% not sure. Which wild animal should be indoor pets? Someone says cats and dogs. Rebecca says none. Queen replies, I agree 100%. Should wildlife be allowed as indoor pets? 5% yes, 62% no, 10% not sure, 24% says some animals. So 62% of you don't believe wildlife should ever be indoor pets. Did the lab worker deliberately let the monkeys out of the Alpha Genesis lab? Yes, 33%. No, 20%. Not sure, 47%. Now, note that the woman says it was an accident. Allegedly, she was feeding the animals and checking on them when she left the door, I guess, unlocked for the animals to get out. Should the Florida infected monkeys with herpes B be euthanized? 65% yes, 15% no, 20% not sure. My last content was earlier pertaining to Sebastian, so feel free to check out that earlier live. Sebastian Rogers' search is now international, and the reward is at $175,000. Is the child alive and abroad in Canada? 5% says yes, 55% says no, 28% not sure, 12% 50-50. So 55% of you do not believe he's alive and in Canada. 28% of you are not sure. 12% 50-50. That's all I have as far as my questions pertaining to the Alpha Genesis lab and the new information pertaining to Sebastian Rogers and this info of Oregon, New York, and Canada. Where is this child? Is he alive or is he deceased? If he's deceased, where are his remains? West Tennessee, East Tennessee, Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee, upstate, downstate, across the state. As I said before, the father has a right to have hope that his child is alive because that's his son. You don't hear the mother pleading for a child. You don't hear the mother talking about searching for the child. Because in my opinion, I think she doesn't care for the child. That's the reason why he's missing, and that's my public opinion. And I'm going to stay on that opinion until the child surfaces either way. People show you what they're made of, and people show you what they care about. And that has been seen in this commentary pertaining to Sebastian. It has been seen visually. Who cares about the child and who does not care? It has been seen and shown those who are busybodies and messy Karens and Kens in this debacle pertaining to this missing child. There are many people who do not care about this child, and they have no business talking about him, period. Searching for him. So I get it why the father don't want people searching, because people are not in it for the right reason. Now, if these are his reasons, I cannot say because I cannot speak for Seth Rogers. I'm only speaking from what I have seen. Many people are not in it for the right reasons. Searching for him, talking about him, putting it on their networks, TikTok, all of it. There are people who are just not in it for the right reasons. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're passing fraudulent information deliberately, and that cannot be tolerated. So I get it. Now, allegedly, we're in a free country. You're entitled to free speech, but there comes a point where free speech ain't always free. And there's a cost to talk, as you've seen with the Bullhorn Betty nonsense. She had to pay the piper in the end, to where she was ordered not to say anything on her network about that family, go near them, so on and so forth, or have content on her channel. Some say she was still talking about them even after the fact. I don't know. I don't watch her. I don't care. That's her journey. It's not mine. The point is, a lot of people are not in this for the right reasons. So you're entitled to believe if Betty is in it for the right reasons, if Mr. Mathis is in it for the right reasons, if Seth is in it for the right reasons, and also those other two. You're entitled to your opinion about all the entities. You're entitled to all the people who have spoken, helped, PIs, searched, were his friends, non-friends, new friends, old friends, stabbed them in the back, all of the above. You're entitled to your opinion about all those entities. The one thing I've learned is that people are people and they are predictable. You cannot put your trust in man because you will surely be disappointed. This is why I said you cannot let the left hand know what the right one's doing and what the right note tell what the left is doing. You have to move silently. Sometimes it's best to keep things to yourself. You're going to search for your child. You don't have to announce to people you're going to search. You don't have to tell us who's involved in the search. You need to be careful who you invite to search because that's just common sense. With all the nastiness that fell out between YouTubers that backstabbed him, acting like they were his friend and ended up having sexual relations with a young lady that he said he liked or was involved in, however it went, all that was just nonsense. And that took away from what was important, which is finding the boy. And now all the cease and desist and protection orders, that's once again something to take us away from finding the child. And it's sickening. Because in the end, everybody who's got their 2 cents, you don't have a missing kid. You don't have a dead kid. You don't have a missing kid. So you're not on that journey. So really, your opinion is irrelevant. And that's what people need to understand. You don't have a missing child. You're not being scrutinized by the public. So many can say, well, Queen, that's how them other people feel. Maybe. Do I care about them? I don't. Because I go by how you act and how you behave. And if you don't act like you care about your child, you act like you don't care about yourself, you're telling me everything I need to know about you. So whether you unallow a child or not, you're still showing me you don't give a fuck. So let me say that again. If the child is alive, he's hidden by one of these entities, somebody that they know, they wrong. They all wrong. If one of these people unalived the child, had help, they're wrong. You walk around acting like you don't give a fuck about this boy, you're wrong. Did I clear that up? Did I clear that up? If you're getting involved and trying to immerse yourself in this case for attention, you're wrong. You're spreading lies and rumors about the boy and his father and parents and these whomever, you're wrong. Did I clear that up? Just stop it. You know you don't care about the kid. You know you don't care about either parent. Stay out of it. It's not your concern. It's not your story. It's not your journey. That's the point. And some of you can't accept that because you're just as sick as Vinnie Politan said, the people that got him gone. You are no different. And that is what's wrong with a lot of people out here walking around. They think they are different than the perpetrators in true crime. You really aren't. You just ain't made the news yet. I said that. Because you're exhibiting behavior similar to the people who have committed the crimes. Come on with it, Queen. I'm going to definitely take you to church. Because some of you sure need it. Your behavior in these cases, the commenting, the spreading the lies and the rumors, believing anything you hear and say and spreading it as if it's the truth. You are no different than a person that would have unalived the child. You are on the same wavelength, same mindset. You are ill. And you don't got no business with a child, access to a child, a dog, a cat, a monkey, a billy goat. Did I clear that up? That's why it's so easy for people to jump up and say this or that about that person. How are you talking about them? You acting like the people you talking about. Because I've seen it up here on YouTube months into this child missing. Just a damn hee-haw show, just like with the Summer Wells case. I thought, why are these people even talking about these kids? They act just like the damn parents. You throwing daggers at them, but you acting like the same people you talking bad about. So how are you different? You're not. Say it again, Queen. You are not. Same slippery slope. That's why I say it. Everybody needs to check themselves and own the part they play in talking about these cases. If you have a platform, if you're commenting in the chat or under the video, under the article, you have to be responsible for your words. You will one day have to eat your own words. That's life. That's why the old saying, be careful what you say. Be careful what you wish for. Speak it and it shall be so. It's in the scripture. You speak it, then you claim it. So maybe that's why this father don't want to claim death on his son. Because he knows if I claim it, then I'm putting it on my tongue and I'm putting it into existence, into the universe. I don't want to claim that my child is dead. I don't want to claim that my child was murdered. Because then I have got to affirm that somebody took the life of my child. And then I got to say to myself, why would they kill my child? So maybe that's why Seth don't want to say he thinks somebody murdered his child or one of these entities murdered his child. Because maybe he feel like he will probably do something to one of them. And most people probably would. Because he was last in the care of this thing who has played a total bobblehead pertaining to the disappearance of her child. And now she ain't got nothing to say. Her and the other person she's married to, they ain't got nothing to say now. We awfully quiet. Well, they know they got to be quiet now because they've been in the courts raising hell about a YouTuber. So how would they look now? They go into the Belly of the Beast and start bickering and arguing with people because then it's tit for tat. And the judge is going to say, well, you just brought this woman into court. So what you doing on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, arguing with strangers about who said what? You should be the bigger person. Exactly. That's why you have to call a spade a spade. See, they knew they had to stop talking about the boy because eventually it would bite them in the ass. So all this nonsense with Betty was in the making. It was inevitable because they knew we're going to stop talking about him. We're looking bad. Isn't that what they told Seth? You're making us look bad. No, can't nobody make you look no kind of way. You either care or you don't care. You want to search, you want to search. You don't search, that's on you. That's your own journey. Ain't got nothing to do with that. Can't nobody make you look bad. See, that's why I keep trying to tell you these people are telling on themselves. That's why they're eerily quiet. That's why they took that woman to court. Because they know people are watching. And people are looking and saying, this shit don't look right. Somebody done something to this boy child. And it probably ain't good. And you're talking about almost a year now. Not even a peep from law enforcement or TBI, FBI. That ain't good. And I hate to look up and it be a year later, another year, 2 years, 3, like with Summer Wells. 3 years on that child missing, 3.5 years. Nothing. And here we are now approaching the holidays. Not one single update on this boy. Why is that? How terrible it is to be his father and he won't be able to spend the holidays with his son. Do the other ones care? Hell no. They doing what they doing, whether it was 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving. They don't care. It's obvious. Yeah, I said that. You don't care. And you doing everything you doing right now legally because of Seth. And that's my personal opinion. All this bullhorn Betty shit is personal. Seth Rogers driven. You do not fear her. You're not afraid of her. I don't care what that woman has said on her network. No way I believe they're afraid. Because if you've done what I think you've done, Bullhorn Betty is the least of your motherfucking worries. Come on with it, Queen. Preach. She's the least of your worries and your fucking concern. You just mad because she got in cahoots with Seth. That's what this is about. You don't fear her no more than fearing the man on the damn moon. Bullhorn Betty is the least of your fucking concern. She ain't the one you should be worried about. What you need to be worried about is Jesus Christ Superstar. That's who you should be concerned about. That's who you should be concerned with. Not Seth, not Bullhorn, not Mr. Mathis, not the dog, not his company, not the searchers. Your concern should be God Almighty. That's who you should fear. Because that is the one who holds the key to it all. Heaven and earth. He is Alpha, he is Omega. And what he has in store for all of us, involved, uninvolved, have mercy if we ain't lived right. So you sit up here running around, going to court, hee-hawing around, thinking it's a joke. Bullhorn ain't your problem. Bullhorn is not your problem, honey. YouTube is not your problem. TikTok is not your problem. Facebook is not your problem. The news ain't your problem. Seth Rogers ain't your problem. Did I clear that up? You are your problem. That is why you're in the predicament that you are in. Because you did not favor Sebastian Rogers. You have never favored Sebastian Rogers. You have done what most people have done in life. You just rode the ride until you decided to get your ass off. And that's the truth and the whole truth. And that's my truth from where I'm sitting. You never cared. That is the reason why he is not visible. So whether he's unalive or he is hidden, you all are responsible for this nonsense. And it is time that you tell the truth about where this child is. And save everybody, the misery of going on and on and on with videos and TikToks and the news trying to cover this, and the TBI and the Sumner County and whoever the hell is trying to investigate and PIs in this nonsense and tell the damn truth. Tell what you did to this boy, where he is, so this man can get closure and the world can get closure in this case. Because as I have said before pertaining to Sebastian, there is another Sebastian out here who is not happy, who will become a statistic, sadly. There is another creatures walking around portraying to love and care for him, such as his own bio mother and company. There will be another parent out here rallying for their missing child, trying to figure out where their child is. Don't you understand? This is just regurgitation of life, sadly. There will be another Sebastian. There will be another Summer Wells, Camille McKinney, Quentin Simon, Evelyn Boswell, Harmony Montgomery. Well, everybody on YouTube does not care for Sebastian. That is not true. Everyone who chats about him does not genuinely care for Sebastian. Those who have searched don't genuinely care for Sebastian. That's my opinion. Because I've seen it with my own eyes. You can tell who really cares for the child and who does not care. Because when you start doing outrageous, outlandish things, you don't care for him. Because you're showing you don't care for yourself. And a lot of people who talk about Sebastian, they're self-serving. That's the very reason why the father doesn't want people searching for the child. He don't want people talking about him and the child on their network. I get that. But it is also a free country. But we have seen with YouTube, they have their guidelines and their protocols about what you can say, what you can mimic, what you can insinuate. It is what it is. It's all a meta business. Prayers for the truth that this child will be found either way, and that anybody that's responsible for unaliving this child, selling of a child, trafficking a child, hiding the child out, that they will be brought to justice. And anybody that aided a person or persons, they will also be brought to justice. This story needs to be put to bed because it's gone on too long. And it's time to talk about something else. Because like I said, it's obvious there are a lot of people who really don't care for this kid. And they're just riding that donkey ride pretending that they do and they don't. And he deserves better than that. Because one, he didn't ask to come here and he didn't choose his parents. He didn't choose his circumstances. And that's anybody. Whether you are a child or you're an adult. You didn't ask to be here. You didn't choose your mother and your father. You didn't choose your upbringing, your circumstances. You had to work with what was given to you. And sadly, we can't hear the voice of this child for him to tell us what was going on with him. He's not here to tell us. He's not here to tell us. That's my commentary. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Take the polls on my community page. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app, where I give the same commentary in a video. I also put up posts, and I also comment under other articles. You will get a notification anytime I comment on an article of breaking news. I want to thank you for your time. This is live number 3. Check out the last live pertaining to the 43 primates that escaped a South Carolina lab. One of the monkeys has been retrieved. The other ones are circling the fence of the lab. Put it together. They say they're engaging with the other monkeys. Has any other monkeys been retrieved since yesterday? I do not know, but that's the latest information. We go deep in the belly of the beast during that live stream, where I do a lot of Googling on the live stream to give you information about the herpes B virus, how it came to be, how the monkeys came to be in the United States, the protocol for handling them, so on and so forth. Check out that live stream. And the live before that is about Sebastian Rogers. I give a brief synopsis of my opinion on this information of an international search. Don't know if this is true, factual, if it's a hoax, if it's somebody misleading this team. If so, you are dirty. You are dirty. And as I have said before, please stop passing information that you do not know is true about these people. This is the very reason why I don't like doing winded lives. Because every live is the same regurgitated information. If you don't have a receipt to anything, stop repeating it, please. That is the very reason why this case and so many other true crime cases get out of control. Because it's always he said, she said. anything pertaining to children will never be revealed by a court official because they're minors. So you don't know what's the truth and what is not the truth. I go by what I can see and hear. And so far, what I have seen and what I have heard is not good pertaining to the child. And it looks like to me there weren't many people who actually cared for him. That's what I see. And that's what I hear. Thank you for your time. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful week. Thank a veteran. Prayers to those who gave up their life to defend this great country. Prayers for those who have succumbed to injuries, those who are walking around still injured, have lost limbs, to keep us free. Salute a veteran. Do something nice for a veteran. Prayers for our veterans. Amen. Thank you for your time. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Prayers for justice for Sebastian Rogers and Summer Wells. Prayers for our children. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. Mind the children. We will get justice. I believe that. I believe that when you least expect it, there will be an update pertaining to the disappearance of this child. It may not come today. It may not come tomorrow. It may not come Christmas. It may not even come February 2025. But I believe there will be information. Because the one thing I know about God is he don't like ugly. Thank you for your time. You've been listening to the Vault XL.